family medicine at UKZN has got a really interesting history. So it goes back actually to the founding of the medical school, and even a little bit before that. So there were two real pioneers, Emily and Sydney Kark. They were in the mid-40s. They set up a project in Polela, outside of Underberg or Bulwer, in that area. And this project that they set up was really set up as a research project to look at whether, if you engage in communities, whether the outcomes become better or not. So they provided a free primary care for the whole community there, but they randomized the local villages into some that they had the intervention where they intervened. So they would visit the community members, visit households, promote food gardens, do health talks, and all sorts of things like that. And and this was really the birth of primary health care. This approach they called community-oriented primary care, or COPC. Yeah, so after this project came to an end, the Karks actually moved to medical school. And in the very first curriculum of medical school, they integrated exactly this idea of COPC into how medical students should be taught. So this is really very deeply where family medicine is located. This is really where we are basing ourselves, in that interface between what is going on in the community, what's going on in the person's life, and the healthcare services. So in terms of the teaching program that we do here in family medicine, we've got quite an extensive footprint in the undergraduate medical program. We start from first year till final year. There's quite a bit that focuses particularly on social determinants of health in the first 2 years or so. Second to fourth year, we are involved with a community-oriented primary care project that the students are doing together with public health. And then in fourth, fifth and sixth year, we have got the students where they've spent some time in the primary care clinics. They spend some time in outpatients in hospitals, and in final year we actually send them to rural hospitals where they spend the full 6 or 7 weeks in a rural hospital. They manage patients, they have got much greater responsibility, and in all of these spaces we emphasize again the kind of the person-centeredness, but also understanding context. And what's really crucial throughout is also understanding the context that you work in. So understanding healthcare systems, how do you improve healthcare systems, how do you do quality improvement processes, how do you refer patients, how do you work in teams, how do you work interprofessionally. So all of those are really built into our kind of perspective of what the students are doing. In terms of postgrad studies, we've got the diploma in family medicine, and that's really been growing and becoming very popular, where it's a 2-year program with 4 modules, and the students, because it's modularized, you can actually start it at any year. You don't have to wait for like 2 years to get into the program. And that's become really popular also with people outside of the province. So we have been getting people from Gauteng and Northern Cape and Limpopo and all over to join that. Then we've got the registrar program that is coordinated by Prof. Naidu, and we also kind of quite an active PhD program.
In terms of my teaching contribution at the university, I teach both undergraduate and postgraduate students. I currently coordinate and run the final year rotation in family medicine, which is what we call the rural block or the rural rotation. Within this rotation, we send our final year medical students to rural district hospitals. And we hope that as they do that, a certain transformation will take place within them. So what this block does is that it provides them an opportunity to implement whatever it is that they've learned during their medical curriculum in medical school, to implement it in a resource-constrained setting where there's not a lot of doctors, where they have to be aware about the social determinants of health faced by their patients. And so I think one of the things I've really seen in our students as they embark on this 6-week journey is the transformation that really takes place within them. One of the other things that we really endeavor to do is medicine is quite a profession that's filled with hierarchy, where you've got the consultant at the top, and then it's the registrar and the medical officer and then the interns, and the students feel like the scum of the earth at the bottom. But as they go into these rural district hospitals, we really encourage interprofessional collaboration, where they're working with physiotherapists and occupational therapists and dietitians, and they're working with opticians, and then even working with community-based teams, community caregivers, and nurses. I think through this transformative rural rotation, we essentially want our students to be aware of the realities of medical practice. Firstly, by being aware of medical care at primary healthcare level, in a hospital setting, as well as community level, as they engage with community-based teams. Thirdly, through this rotation, we want to encourage resilience, adaptability, and problem solving as they work in resource-constrained settings. And then lastly, we encourage our students to be reflective practitioners as they reflect deeply on the patients that they see, as well as the healthcare system that they are working in.
As a clinician, I'm based at Wentworth, which is both a decentralized training site for UKZN, but also a site where we render service to patients in the community. It's a district level hospital, so it's a first level hospital care, and we render the services in a training platform. In the sense, we have undergrad students, medical interns doing their family medicine rotation, and we also have postgraduate students, which are residents. And from time to time, we have elective students who also spend time with us. In terms of training, I'm currently the postgraduate coordinator of the Family Medicine Registrar Training Program at UKZN, and I also coordinate a module for the diploma, postgraduate diploma in family medicine.
A lot of healthcare workers my age feel like family medicine is more for the elderly doctors, and it's more male dominated than female. So I hope with time there'll be more younger doctors, more females, more male younger doctors who gain interest in family medicine, because I feel like family medicine is the backbone of medicine, it's the background of medicine, and primary health care is the foundation of it all. So if it's done properly, we could curb a lot of side effects, we could curb a lot of complications that the higher facilities have to deal with. Hence, I feel like if we do primary health care right, we could prevent all of these other complications.
Family medicine is actually one of the innovators in medical education, because we have currently introduced a very innovative method of training called Entrustable Professional Activities-Based Curriculum. So what this actually means is that we're training people who are fit for purpose. And what does that involve? It involves taking the job description of a family physician, looking at the responsibilities of that family physician when they perform their jobs, and breaking those responsibilities into what they're expected to do in the workplace, then further breaking it down into the knowledge, the skills, the attitudes, and the experience that they need. So at the end of it, we hope to get clinicians who can be competent and able to do the job that they are supposed to do as doctors or as family physicians.
For us in particular, the linkage with the Department of Health and the engagement with the PHC Transformation Committee that is really looking at policy development within the Department of Health and how the university can engage and support the research initiatives in the Department of Health and support the policy development. So our engagement with that is really, really exciting. So for family medicine, I think we are really very strongly placed in terms of the NHI, in terms of future healthcare systems development. And I think that is also where we really want to strengthen the kind of family medicine as an academic pursuit, but also as a developmental pursuit. We really need to think very strongly how we can kind of, especially in often very tight financial constraints, and be able to offer really high value programs for graduates that need to go, like that basically need to go serve the country. I think for us, very critical in this is a sense of equity and justice. So for us, it's not only the people here in Durban that need to be focused on, we really need to think that these resources are available for the whole country, for rural areas, for underserved areas. And so this idea of how do we do this needs to be implicit or built into our approaches of how we want to do the teaching.